On April 12, 1961, humanity achieved a monumental milestone with the launch of Yuri Gagarin aboard Vostok 1. This was not just a remarkable feat of human courage and ingenuity, but also a technical triumph of engineering and design. In this video, we'll delve into the details of the spacecraft and rocket that made this unprecedented journey possible. Vostok 1 was the spacecraft that carried Yuri Gagarin into orbit. It was a part of the Vostok program, which aimed to develop and test spaceflight technologies. The Vostok 1 capsule was designed to be a relatively small, spherical module, approximately 2.3 meters in diameter and 2.4 meters in height. It had a mass of around 4.7 tons. The capsule was divided into two main sections, the descent module and the service module. The descent module, where Gagarin was seated, was equipped with life support systems to ensure his survival in space. This module was also where the controls and instrumentation were located, although Gagarin's role was primarily to monitor and report on the spacecraft's performance rather than control it directly. The service module contained the spacecraft's propulsion systems, batteries, and other essential equipment. It was jettisoned before re-entry, leaving only the descent module to return to Earth. The capsule's heat shield was crucial for protecting Gagarin during re-entry, as it had to withstand the intense heat generated by the friction of re-entering Earth's atmosphere. The launch vehicle for Vostok 1 was the R-7 Semyorka, a Soviet ballistic missile that had been adapted for space launches. The R-7 was a remarkable piece of engineering and played a pivotal role in the Soviet space program. Standing at about 34.5 meters tall, the R-7 was a multi-stage rocket with a total mass of approximately 280 tons. It was powered by liquid fuel engines, utilizing a mix of kerosene and liquid oxygen. The rocket was designed with a central core stage and 4 booster stages arranged symmetrically around it. The central core contained the main propulsion system, while the boosters provided additional thrust during the initial phase of the launch. One of the most innovative aspects of the R-7 was its use of strap-on boosters, which could be jettisoned once they had expended their fuel. This staged approach allowed the rocket to shed weight as it ascended, making it more efficient and capable of reaching the high velocities required for space travel. The launch of Vostok 1 took place at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, which was the primary site for Soviet space missions at the time. The launch pad used for Vostok 1 was equipped with various ground support systems to ensure a smooth and successful liftoff. The countdown for the mission was a meticulous process, involving numerous checks and preparations. On the day of the launch, the R-7 rocket was fueled and readied for liftoff. The launch sequence began with the ignition of the rocket's engines, which produced a powerful thrust, lifting the vehicle off the ground and into the sky. As the rocket ascended, the boosters were jettisoned sequentially, allowing the central core stage to continue propelling the spacecraft into orbit. The final stage of the R-7 rocket released the Vostok 1 capsule into its intended orbit around Earth. Gagarin's mission lasted approximately 108 minutes, during which he completed one orbit of the planet. The flight reached a maximum altitude of about 327 kilometers and a maximum speed of around 27,400 kilometers per hour. The mission was a tremendous success, demonstrating the feasibility of human spaceflight and paving the way for future space exploration. The Vostok 1 spacecraft was designed to complete a single orbit around Earth. The mission's objective was to test the spacecraft's systems and gather data on how a human would react to space conditions. During the flight, the spacecraft followed an elliptical orbit, reaching a maximum altitude of approximately 327 kilometers and a minimum altitude of around 169 kilometers. The spacecraft was equipped with several key systems to ensure Gagarin's safety and the mission's success. The Vostok 1 capsule was outfitted with a life support system that included oxygen supply and temperature regulation. This system was crucial for maintaining a habitable environment for Gagarin during his journey. The spacecraft had onboard navigation and communication systems that allowed it to transmit data back to ground control. These systems were essential for monitoring the spacecraft's trajectory and for relaying information about the mission's progress. Although Gagarin did not have direct control over the spacecraft's trajectory, he had access to various instruments that allowed him to monitor the spacecraft's performance and conditions. The Vostok 1 capsule was designed with a simple control interface to facilitate this monitoring. The launch of Vostok 1 began with the ignition of the R-7 rocket's engines, which produced the thrust necessary to lift the vehicle off the launch pad. The rocket's strap-on boosters provided additional thrust during the initial ascent phase. As the rocket climbed higher, the boosters were jettisoned sequentially, reducing the rocket's weight and allowing the central core stage to continue accelerating the spacecraft into orbit. Once the rocket reached space, the final stage separated and the Vostok 1 capsule was released into its orbit around Earth. The spacecraft's orbital insertion was carefully calculated to ensure that it would complete one full orbit before re-entering the atmosphere. During his orbit, Yuri Gagarin experienced weightlessness for the first time, a sensation that was both exhilarating and disorienting. The Vostok 1 capsule's interior was designed to accommodate this condition, with safety straps and restraints to secure Gagarin in place. Gagarin's mission provided valuable data on the effects of space travel on the human body. Observations from this flight helped scientists understand how weightlessness and the space environment affected physiological processes, paving the way for future human space missions. One of the most iconic moments of the flight was Gagarin's observation of Earth from space. Through the capsule's small window, he was able to view our planet from a perspective that few had ever seen before. This experience not only reinforced the beauty and fragility of Earth, but also inspired a sense of unity and wonder about our place in the universe. As the spacecraft approached the end of its orbit, it prepared for re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. The Vostok 1 capsule had a heat shield designed to protect it from the intense heat generated during re-entry. The heat shield successfully withstood the extreme temperatures, allowing the capsule to descend safely. The descent module, which housed Gagarin, was separated from the service module before re-entry. This separation was a critical safety measure to ensure that the descent module, equipped with its own parachute system, would land safely. Gagarin ejected from the capsule and parachuted to the ground, landing near the village of Smelovka in the Saratov region of Russia. He was recovered by a search and rescue team and was celebrated as a national hero upon his return. Yuri Gagarin's successful flight aboard Vostok 1 was a historic achievement that demonstrated the feasibility of human space travel and set the stage for future missions. It marked the beginning of a new era in space exploration, inspiring generations of scientists, engineers, and astronauts to push the boundaries of what is possible. Yuri Gagarin's successful orbit of the Earth was not just a Soviet triumph, but a milestone for humanity as a whole. His flight marked the beginning of the era of human space exploration, inspiring nations around the world and demonstrating the possibilities of space travel. Gagarin's mission highlighted the capabilities and potential of space technology. The successful deployment of the Vostok 1 spacecraft and its systems demonstrated the feasibility of human spaceflight and provided valuable data that would inform the development of subsequent spacecraft. Technologies developed for the Vostok program, including life support systems and heat shields, laid the groundwork for future missions and spacecraft designs. The success of Gagarin's flight had significant geopolitical implications. During the Cold War, the space race was a major point of competition between the United States and the Soviet Union. Gagarin's achievement was a powerful demonstration of Soviet technological prowess and boosted national pride. It also intensified the space race, prompting the United States to accelerate its own space program, ultimately leading to the Apollo missions and the moon landing. Gagarin's journey captured the imagination of people around the world. His friendly demeanor and the success of his mission fostered a global interest in space exploration. Gagarin became an international hero and a symbol of human courage and curiosity. His achievement inspired countless individuals to pursue careers in science, engineering, and space exploration. Following Gagarin's mission, space agencies around the world rapidly expanded their efforts to explore and utilize space. The success of Vostok 1 set a precedent for future missions and led to several important advancements. Building on the success of human spaceflight, the Soviet Union and other countries developed space stations such as Salyut and Mir. These stations allowed for extended human presence in space and provided valuable data on long-term space habitation. The design principles and technologies developed for Vostok 1 influenced subsequent spacecraft, including the Vostok 2, Vostok 3, and the later Soyuz program. Improvements in spacecraft design, life support, and re-entry systems were driven by the lessons learned from Gagarin's flight. Gagarin's mission paved the way for increased international collaboration in space exploration. The spirit of exploration and the shared human quest for knowledge led to joint missions, such as the Apollo-Soyuz test project, which marked the first international human spaceflight mission and symbolized the easing of Cold War tensions. Yuri Gagarin remains a celebrated figure in the history of space exploration. His name is synonymous with pioneering spirit and achievement. Several honors and tributes have been established in his memory. Numerous monuments and memorials have been dedicated to Gagarin around the world. These include statues, plaques, and museums that celebrate his life and contributions to space exploration. Various space-related entities have been named in Gagarin's honor, including the Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center in Star City, Russia, and the Gagarin spacecraft, which was part of the Soviet space program. Gagarin's story has been featured in numerous books, films, and documentaries. His legacy continues to inspire new generations of space enthusiasts and professionals. April 12th, the date of Gagarin's historic flight, is celebrated globally as Yuri's Night, also known as the World Space Party. It commemorates the first human spaceflight and promotes awareness of space exploration and the continued pursuit of scientific discovery. Yuri Gagarin's mission aboard Vostok 1 was a defining moment in the history of space exploration. It demonstrated the potential for human spaceflight, spurred technological advancements, and inspired a generation of explorers and innovators. Gagarin's bravery and the success of his mission laid the foundation for future space endeavors, and his legacy continues to shine brightly in the annals of space exploration. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Yuri Gagarin's historic mission. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of space exploration's most significant milestones, be sure to subscribe for more content on the wonders of space and the pioneers who have made history.